precious child, what I am about to reveal to you is not a coincidence, not a random message, and not something you stumbled upon by accident. The clock is moving. Tonight, before 11:57 p.m., something shifts in the unseen realm, and I need you to listen carefully. The title you just read was not exaggeration. It was not drama. It was not fear. It was truth. God says, someone in your family who has already passed away is trying to warn you and tell you something very important. It is about your next decision. It is about your home. It is about something you are about to say or sign or agree to. And heaven does not want you walking into it blindly. You have been feeling it, haven't you? That strange pull in your spirit. That random memory of them. A sudden dream. A familiar scent that had no source. That old photo that fell out of nowhere. You brushed it off as nostalgia. But it was not just memory. It was a spiritual nudge. Listen carefully. God does not allow the departed to wander without purpose. When a message presses this urgently on your heart, it is because heaven is trying to intercept something. And tonight, before 11:57 p.m., you are standing at a crossroads. There is a decision connected to your future that looks harmless on the outside. It seems practical, logical, even beneficial. But spiritually it carries weight. And this is where Archangel Michael steps in. Archangel Michael is the defender, the protector, the warrior assigned to guard destinies and block unseen attacks. When a warning carries urgency, when the clock is mentioned, when timing becomes critical, it means protection is being activated. You are not being scared. You are being shielded. The family member you lost, think about who came to your mind first. That was not random. The first name this service carries significance. They loved you deeply. They worried about you. They prayed for you. And even after their earthly journey ended, their intercession did not stop. But understand this clearly. The message is not coming from them directly in a mystical way. It is God allowing their memory, their voice, their love to stir you awake. God uses what your heart recognizes. And here is the warning. There is something being hidden from you. Not in a dramatic movie way. Not in a loud betrayal. But in a subtle omission. Information not fully shared. Motives not fully transparent. A conversation that seems supportive but carries a hidden angle. It may involve money. It may involve property. It may involve a partnership. It may involve trust. Before 11:57 p.m. tonight, you will have clarity about one specific detail. Watch closely. A text. A call. A sudden realization. A memory resurfacing that connects the dots. Archangel Michael is standing at the doorway of your decision. His sword is not raised in anger, but in protection. He blocks what you cannot see. He fights what you do not know is forming. But heaven cannot override your free will. That is why this message found you. Your loved one's passing left a space in your life. And lately, you have been missing their advice. You have even whispered, "I wish you were here to tell me what to do." And now, heaven is answering. Pay attention to repetition. If something is mentioned twice today from different sources, that is confirmation. If a delay happens unexpectedly, that is protection. If someone suddenly changes their tone, that is exposure. The warning is gentle but serious. Do not rush. Do not sign impulsively. Do not respond emotionally. Do not reveal everything you know. Silence will protect you tonight. And here is something deeper. There is also an emotional gap attached to this situation. Someone may use guilt. Someone may remind you of past favors. Someone may appeal to loyalty. But loyalty without wisdom leads to regret. Your departed family member learned lessons the hard way in their lifetime. Mistakes they never spoke about openly. Regrets they carried quietly. And now, God is preventing you from repeating a cycle. This is generational direction. This is divine interruption. And before the clock strikes 11:57 p.m., something subtle will confirm this message to you. It will not be loud thunder. It will be quiet clarity. A sentence that hits differently. A memory that suddenly makes sense. When that happens, do not ignore it. Archangel Michael's energy around you right now is not chaotic. He is firm, protective, focused. He stands like a guardian at the edge of your tomorrow, ensuring no unseen harm crosses into your future without permission. You are being covered. You are being warned. You are being protected. And this is not about fear, it is about favor. Because when God warns, it means you matter. When heaven intervenes, it means your destiny carries weight. So breathe. Slow down tonight. Observe more than you speak. And when you sense that moment of clarity before 11:57 p.m., whisper this: God, I receive your protection. Something is shifting already. Beloved soul, something is already moving behind the scenes, and you can feel it in your chest. It is subtle, but it is there. Since you heard the first warning, your spirit has become more alert. That is not anxiety. That is awareness. God is sharpening your discernment because what is about to unfold requires calm focus, not panic. The one who passed from your family line is connected to a lesson that was never fully spoken. In their lifetime, they carried silent concerns about trust. They saw how easily hearts can be manipulated when emotions are involved. They experienced moments when they wished they had paused instead of reacting. And now, heaven is making sure you pause. There is a conversation hovering around you. It may not even have happened yet, but it is close. It involves an offer, a request, or an agreement that appears simple on the surface. The words will sound supportive. The tone may even sound loving. But the timing is off. The pressure will feel slightly rushed. That is your first clue. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over timing. When something tries to push you faster than peace allows, it is rarely from God. Divine instruction carries clarity, not pressure. Tonight, if you feel hurried, step back. If someone insists that you must decide immediately, that insistence itself is a signal. You have always been the strong one in your family. The responsible one. The one who fixes things. Because of that, people assume you will say yes. They assume you will carry weight without questioning it. But this time is different. This time, heaven is asking you to protect your own future before you rescue someone else's comfort. There is also something connected to your home environment. Not necessarily a move, but a shift. A rearranging. A change in atmosphere. The warning is about who you allowed influence inside your personal space. Energy matters. Conversations matter. Agreements made inside your home carry spiritual weight. Before 11:57 p.m. tonight, watch how one detail surfaces that makes you reconsider something you thought was settled. It might be small, but it will not feel small in your spirit. That is the moment of intersection. That is Archangel Michael stepping between you and a potential regret. You may wonder why the message carries urgency. Because delays are not always accidents. Sometimes heaven delays to expose truth. If something slows down unexpectedly, do not complain. That slowdown may be your protection unfolding. The family member you lost would not want you repeating a cycle of silent sacrifice. They would not want you agreeing to something that drains you later. They would want you strong, wise, and protected. And God is honoring that desire by sending clarity now. There is also a hidden layer to this. Someone around you may not be intentionally malicious, but they are not fully transparent either. They might believe what they are saying is harmless, but incomplete truth still creates consequences. That is why you must listen beyond words. Pay attention to inconsistencies. Notice what is not being said. Archangel Michael's presence in the situation is firm but gentle. He does not create chaos. He creates boundaries. If you suddenly feel the need to say, "Let me think about it," that sentence will be guided. If you feel prompted to review something twice, do it. If you feel uneasy about signing or promising something, trust that unease. Tonight is about discernment. And let me speak directly to you for a moment. If this message is resonating with your spirit, do not keep it to yourself. There are others who need this warning before they make a rush decision. Share this message with someone who has been feeling pressured lately. Like this video so it reaches more people who are at a spiritual crossroads. Comment below if you have already sensed that something felt off in your situation. Your testimony might confirm clarity for someone else. And make sure you are subscribed to this channel, because these divine warnings and protections are not random. They come at appointed times, and you do not want to miss what heaven reveals next. If you feel led, become part of this growing spiritual family through membership so you can stand in consistent alignment with these messages. There is more unfolding, and what is coming next will connect the dots even deeper. The reason behind the 11:57 p.m. timing is not symbolic alone. It marks a spiritual transition point for you. And what you discover about that timing will change how you see tonight entirely. Stay attentive, because the next revelation ties everything together in a way you did not expect. Chosen one, the reason the time 11:57 p.m. has been placed before you is not random. It is a spiritual marker. It represents the final 3 minutes before a shift. 3 minutes before midnight. 3 minutes before one day closes and another begins. And the spirit, that is the window where decisions either seal protection or open doors you cannot easily close. You are standing in those 3 minutes symbolically right now. The family member who has already passed away carries significance connected to unfinished wisdom. There were things they understood toward the end of their life that they never had the chance to fully explain. Regrets about trust. Regrets about ignoring intuition. Regrets about dismissing early warning signs. And now, heaven is making sure you do not learn the same lessons through pain. There is something specific about your situation that mirrors a moment from their past. It may not look identical on the surface, but the pattern is similar. A request that feels urgent. A decision that seems small. A promise that sounds harmless. Yet beneath it is a chain reaction. You may be thinking, is this really that serious? That question itself is the confirmation. When God repeats a message with urgency, it is because the ripple effect extends beyond what you see. Archangel Michael's presence intensified during transitional moments. Midnight represents covenant, reset, and spiritual sealing. Before midnight, choices can still be redirected. After midnight, momentum increases. That is why this message came before 11:57 p.m. It is heaven's mercy giving you space to adjust. There is also an emotional layer attached to this warning. You have been missing that family member deeply lately. Certain days, certain memory, certain zone have been rehearsing. That longing open your heart spiritually. And in that openness, God placed clarity. Do not mistake emotion for imagination. What you are sensing is discernment. There is someone who assumes you will agree without questioning. Someone who believes your loyalty will override your caution. But tonight, your loyalty must be to God first. Even if it disappoints someone temporarily, it will protect you permanently. You may also notice something unusual this evening. A delay, a cancellation, a sudden shift in plans. If that happens, do not resist it. That interruption is divine rearrangement. Archangel Michael is known as the defender of divine order. If timing changes, it is because protection is taking priority over convenience. And here is something deeper that you have not considered yet. The warning is not only about avoiding harm. It is about preserving an upcoming blessing. There is something good scheduled for you in the near future. A breakthrough, an opportunity, a financial improvement, a new connection. But if you entangle yourself in the wrong agreement now, it will complicate that blessing. Heaven is not trying to scare you. Heaven is guarding your capacity to receive what is next. The spirit of haste is not from God. Pieces. Before 11:57 p.m., sit quietly for a few minutes. Turn off distractions. Ask directly, Lord, show me what I need to see. And pay attention to the first thought that surfaces. A gentle nudge is your answer. Your departed loved one's memory is acting as a bridge for clarity, not as a mystical messenger, but as a reminder of wisdom gained through experience. I want you protected, and God is honoring that desire by placing Archangel Michael as a guardian over your threshold tonight. You are not alone in this moment. Even if the room feels quiet, the spiritual realm is active around you. And when the clock moves closer to 11:57 p.m., you will feel one of two things, peace or pressure. If it is peace, you are aligned. If it is pressure, step back immediately. Pressure is the red flag. Let this sink into your spirit deeply. You are being given the chance to rewrite a generational pattern. You are being trusted with discernment. You are being protected from silent consequences. This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention wrapped in love. Now, if this message is confirming something in your heart, I want you to seal it spiritually. Type I choose divine protection in the comments if you receive this warning. Blessing code 3911 has just been released over your life. As you type it, you align yourself with heavenly covering and clarity before midnight. And as this protection settles over you, understand something powerful. When you support the spread of messages like this, you are not supporting a channel. You are helping God intercept someone else before their midnight mistake. Scripture declares, "Cast your bread upon the waters, and it will return to you." When you sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or even a PayPal offering through the link in the description, you are releasing light into someone's darkest hour. I hear the Spirit saying, "The generous soul will prosper." This is not charity. This is participation in divine rescue. If this word guarded you tonight, imagine how many others are one decision away from regret. When you act, you become part of heaven's interruption system. The oil does not run dry in the house that keeps pouring. The fire does not fade where sacrifice is present. As you give, protection multiplies around your household. Step into obedience. Activate your support. Become a vessel that carries warning, wisdom, and light to souls before their clock strikes midnight. Faithful heart, now that you have aligned yourself with divine protection, the atmosphere around you is already shifting. You may not see it with your eyes, but something subtle has been rearranged in your favor. What was forming quietly is now being exposed gently. What was hidden beneath the surface is beginning to lose its grip. There is a reason the warning came before tonight. It is because the decision in front of you is not isolated. It is connected to your future stability. The enemy rarely attacks loudly. Most of the time, disruption enters through agreement. A simple yes at the wrong time can open doors that take years to close. That is why heaven intervened early. You might have noticed that your emotions have been fluctuating lately. One moment you feel confident, the next moment unsure. That inner tension is not weakness. It is discernment wrestling with familiarity. The situation looks normal because it is coming from someone you know, someone you have history with, someone who feels safe. But safety and wisdom are not always the same. Archangel Michael's assignment is not only to fight external threats, but also to guard your spiritual boundaries. Boundaries are holy. They protect your peace. They preserve your focus. And right now, your peace is more valuable than proving loyalty to someone who may not fully understand your path. There is a pattern in your family line of carrying burdens silently. You have seen it. You have lived it. Responsibilities passed down without question. Sacrifices made without discussion. And sometimes, those sacrifices were noble. But other times, they were unnecessary. This is the moment where that cycle shifts. You are not called to repeat every family pattern. You are called to refine it. Think carefully about what is being asked of you. Is it truly aligned with your growth? Or does it pull you backward into an old role you have outgrown? Growth requires courage. Sometimes that courage looks like saying, "I need time." Sometimes it looks like choosing not to respond immediately. Tonight, clarity will sharpen. You may notice someone revealing more than they intended. Pay attention to tone changes. Notice contradictions. Watch how the story evolves when you ask simple questions. Truth remains consistent. Manipulation adjusts. There is also something financial tied to this situation for some of you. Not necessarily large amounts, but enough to create tension later. Agreements involving shared responsibility must be crystal clear. Do not assume understanding. If something is vague, it will become complicated later. Archangel Michael stands guard when contracts and commitments are involved. If you feel resistance while reading or hearing details, pause. That pause is protection. Another layer to this message involves your intuition about your home environment. If you have felt the need to rearrange, clean, or shift something physically in your space, do it. Physical movement can release spiritual heaviness. Sometimes the act of clearing a drawer mirrors the clearing of confusion in your mind. You are being positioned carefully. The warning was not about fear, it was about preparation. When you are warned in advance, it means you are trusted with responsibility. And responsibility requires maturity. Someone may attempt to test your resolve tonight. They might frame it as urgency. They might say, "Why are you overthinking this?" But wisdom always thinks before acting. Do not let anyone rush you out of discernment. The one who passed from your family would want you steady, not pressured. They would want you protected, not burdened. And God, who sees every unseen detail, has already assigned protection around your decision. Notice how your breathing changes when you think about saying yes versus when you imagine saying, "Let me reflect." Your body often recognizes truth before your mind accepts it. Peace feels expansive. Pressure feels tight. You are stepping into a season where your no will be just as powerful as your yes. And that shift will surprise some people, but it will strengthen you. As the evening progresses, resist the urge to fill silence with explanations. Silence reveals character. Silence reveals intention. If someone becomes defensive when you ask reasonable questions, that reaction is information. There is no need to argue. There is no need to accuse. Simply observe. Heaven has already tilted the scale in your favor. What was meant to entangle you is losing momentum. What was meant to confuse you is becoming clear. And when the clock approaches that final stretch before midnight, you will feel steadier than you expected. That steadiness is confirmation that you heard correctly. That steadiness is proof that protection was activated. Trust it. Because tonight is not about fear of loss. It is about preservation of destiny. Steadfast one, something powerful is happening within you now. The confusion that tried to cloud your judgment is thinning. The emotional fog is lifting. You are beginning to see the situation not through obligation, not through nostalgia, but through clarity. And clarity is a gift from God. There is a quiet strength rising inside you. It does not shout. It does not argue. It simply stands firm. That strength is the result of spiritual protection settling into your decisions. When Archangel Michael stands guard over your path, you do not have to fight loudly. You simply have to remain aligned. You may notice that the person connected to this situation senses your shift. They may respond differently. They may soften their tone, or they may intensify their urgency. Either reaction reveals something. When someone feels their influence slipping, their true intentions begin to surface. Do not be surprised if subtle guilt surfaces tonight. Thoughts like, what if I disappoint them? Or what if I am overreacting? May cross your mind. But listen carefully. Guilt that pushes you toward discomfort is not from God. Conviction brings peace, even when it challenges you. Manipulative guilt creates anxiety. The family member who passed away understood this lesson too late in certain areas of their life. They carried burdens because they feared disappointing others. They stayed silent to avoid conflict. But silence cost them peace. That generational pattern ends with you. This moment is not just about avoiding one mistake. It is about redefining how you make decisions moving forward. You are being trained in discernment. And discernment is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. There is also a spiritual atmosphere shift around your home tonight. You may feel unusually alert. You may feel reflective. That is not coincidence. The spirit realm responds when you align with wisdom. Protection creates calm alertness. As the hours move closer to midnight, notice how your emotions settle when you choose patience. If you delay responding, you may see new information surface naturally. Sometimes truth reveals itself when you stop chasing it. You might also recall a specific memory involving your departed loved one. A conversation, a warning they once gave, a story about someone they trusted too quickly. That memory resurfacing now is part of the confirmation process. God uses remembrance as guidance. There is something important you must understand. Not everyone who pressures you intends harm. Some people operate from fear. Some operate from habit. Some operate from scarcity thinking. But regardless of their motive, you are responsible for your alignment. Compassion does not require compliance. Archangel Michael's protection does not remove your responsibility to choose wisely. It empowers you to do so confidently. Protection and free will work together. You are stepping into a higher level of spiritual maturity. And maturity sometimes feels lonely at first. When you change how you respond, others must adjust. But adjustment is not rejection. It is evolution. Pay attention to your dreams tonight as well. If you receive symbolic images or strong impressions, Write them down in the morning. Your spirit is unusually sensitive right now because you listened when warned. There is also a blessing hidden inside this warning. By avoiding the wrong commitment, you are making space for the right opportunity. Something better aligned with your growth is approaching, but it requires your availability. If your energy were tied up in unnecessary obligation, you would miss it. You may feel a wave of relief soon, a realization that you almost agreed to something that would have drained you. That relief will confirm everything. Do not underestimate how significant this turning point is. Small decisions shape large outcomes. A delayed response tonight could protect years of your future. And here is a final layer you need to hear clearly. Trust does not mean blindness. Love does not mean surrendering wisdom. Loyalty does not mean sacrificing peace. God never asked you to abandon discernment in the name of kindness. As the final minutes approach before midnight, breathe slowly. Release urgency. Release fear. Release the need to explain yourself excessively. You will know unrushed agreement. The atmosphere around you is being sealed with protection. You are not overthinking. You are not being dramatic. You are being guided. And the fact that you paused to listen to this message proves something powerful about you. You are teachable. You are attentive. You are spiritually aware. That awareness will carry you far beyond tonight. Because this is only the beginning of a season where your intuition sharpens, your boundaries strengthen, and your future becomes more secure. Stand firm. Peace is your confirmation. Brave heart, the tension that once surrounded the situation is beginning to lose its power over you. You are no longer reacting from emotion. You are responding from awareness. That shift may seem small, but in the spiritual realm, it is monumental. When you choose awareness over impulse, you step into authority over your own path. There is something you are about to realize that will confirm everything you have sensed. A detail that did not make sense before will subtly connect. It may be a timeline that does not add up. It may be a statement that contradicts something said earlier. It may be a subtle expression on someone's face when you say you need more time. That reaction will speak louder than their words. Archangel Michael's protection does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like exposure through simplicity. A small inconsistency can reveal a large truth. Pay attention to what shifts when you refuse to rush. Truth becomes uncomfortable when it got controlled timing. You may also notice that as you become firmer, someone attempts to soften you with affection or nostalgia. They may remind you of shared history. They may bring up memories to reconnect emotionally. But history is not a contract for your future. Shared memories do not obligate you to shared decisions. You are being invited into a higher level of discernment. And discernment requires courage. It takes courage to say, I will not decide under pressure. It takes courage to pause when others expect immediate compliance. But that courage is the very thing protecting your destiny. Tonight is revealing more than you expected. The more you step back, the clearer everything becomes. This is not coincidence. When you align with divine instruction, confusion dissolves. There is also something happening within your spirit that you may not have recognized yet. You are learning to trust your inner warning system. For years, you may have doubted it. You may have ignored it to keep peace. But now, you are listening. And that listening is transforming your future. If this message has already helped you pause, reflect, or reconsider something important, do not stay silent about it. There are countless others who are standing at similar crossroads right now. Like this video so it reaches someone who needs protection before making a rushed decision. Share it with a friend or family member who has been under pressure lately. Comment below if you have felt that inner alertness guiding you. Your words might confirm clarity for someone else reading them. And make sure you are subscribed to this channel so you continue receiving these timely messages when they matter most. If your spirit feels connected here, join this growing community through membership and stand in alignment with ongoing spiritual insight. Something else is becoming clear tonight. The person connected to the situation may not expect resistance from you. Your strength might surprise them. And when people are surprised by boundaries, they reveal their true expectations. That revelation is not meant to create conflict. It is meant to create awareness. Archangel Michael stands at the entrance of your next chapter, not with aggression, but with vigilance. He guards doors you cannot see. He blocks paths that would have drained you. But he does not force you. He waits for your agreement with wisdom. As the evening deepens, notice how peace grows stronger when you delay responding. That peace is confirmation. Anxiety fades when you step into alignment. There may also be a final attempt to push urgency before midnight. If that happens, see it clearly for what it is. Urgency that resists reflection rarely serves your highest good. Calm timing is a sign of divine orchestration. Panic timing is not. You are stepping into a season where your intuition will become one of your greatest assets. The more you honor it, the more accurate it becomes. And tonight is the training ground. There is relief ahead. There is clarity ahead. There is even gratitude ahead when you realize what you avoided. Stay attentive for what unfolds next, because what is about to be revealed will confirm why heaven intervened so precisely before this night closed. Steady soul, you have crossed an invisible threshold. Whether you realize it fully or not, the moment you chose to pause instead of rush, something significant shifted in your timeline. What once felt like a looming pressure now feels manageable. What once felt urgent now feels questionable. That is not random. That is discernment awakening in real time. There is a reason heaven emphasized the timing before midnight. Midnight represents closure and transition. And you were being positioned to close a door wisely, not impulsively. Now that you have resisted haste, clarity is unfolding layer by layer. You may have already noticed subtle reactions from the person connected to this situation. Perhaps their tone changed. Perhaps they withdrew slightly. Perhaps they tried a different approach. That shift reveals expectation, and expectation reveals motive. You'll not judge them harshly. Simply observe. When you stopped moving at their speed, you disrupted an assumed outcome. And that disruption exposed the structure beneath the request. You are now seeing whether it was built on mutual respect or on assumed compliance. There is also something within you that feels lighter. Even if the final outcome has not yet been spoken aloud, your spirit already senses protection. That lightness is confirmation that you listened correctly. Anxiety decreases when you align with truth. Archangel Michael's presence in your life during this season is about strengthening your spiritual backbone. You are learning that protection does not always look like battle. Sometimes it looks like patience. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like asking one more question before committing. And one more question may reveal everything. If you choose to ask for clarification tonight, watch carefully how the response unfolds. Truth answers calmly. Manipulation deflects. Honesty provides detail. Hidden motives become irritated by scrutiny. This is not about becoming suspicious of everyone. It is about becoming wise with your agreements. The lesson here is not fear of people. It is mastery over impulse. You have been stepping into greater responsibility recently. Greater influence. Greater opportunity. With growth comes testing, not to harm you, but to refine you. Every new level of maturity requires a moment where you must choose principle over pressure. Tonight is one of those moments. There is also something ancestral about this shift. The family member who passed carried strength, but they also carried unspoken compromises. You admired them. You loved them. But you also witnessed moments where they gave more than they should have. You are honoring their legacy not by repeating their sacrifices blindly, but by improving upon their wisdom. That is generational elevation. You may feel a sudden urge to protect your time more fiercely after this, to guard your commitments more intentionally. That urge is healthy. Boundaries are not walls. They are gates. And gates allow you to choose what enters your life. If someone becomes uncomfortable with your boundaries, the discomfort is information. People who respect you will adjust. People who relied on your automatic yes will struggle. Archangel Michael stands behind you as you establish these boundaries, not to intimidate anyone, but to fortify your resolve. When you sense calm strength rising inside you, that is reinforcement. As the night deepens, you may find yourself reflecting on how many times in the past you agreed too quickly. Do not let regret enter. This is not about shame. It is about growth. Awareness gained now protects your tomorrow. There may still be one final reveal before midnight. A detail that confirms what your intuition already knew. It could be small. It could be subtle. But it will solidify your confidence. And when that confirmation arrives, you will feel something powerful. Gratitude. Gratitude that you did not ignore the warning. Gratitude that you did not silence your inner voice. Gratitude that heaven intervened before consequences form. This is how destiny is protected quietly, not through loud miracles, but through timely wisdom. And as you stand in this moment, steadier than before, understand that this was not only about one decision. It was training for a future season where your discernment will guide major opportunities. You pass this test by choosing patience. You pass this test by choosing reflection. You pass this test by choosing protection over pressure. And the peace settling over you now is not temporary. It is the beginning of a new standard in your life. From this night forward, you will not rush into agreements that do not align with your spirit. From this night forward, you will recognize urgency that is not divine. From this night forward, you will trust the quiet strength rising within you. Something larger is still unfolding, and what comes next will reveal the deeper blessing that was hidden behind this warning all along. Watchful one, now you are beginning to see that this was never only about avoiding a mistake. It was about positioning. Protection with the surface layer. Alignment is the deeper layer. When heaven interrupts you before midnight, it is not just to block harm. It is to redirect momentum. There is a blessing that hath been waiting for your availability, not your exhaustion, not your obligation, your availability. And had you said yes too quickly, your energy would have been tied to something that drains rather than builds. The warning came through the memory of someone who has already passed because their life carried lessons etched in experience. They knew what it felt like to commit before clarity. They knew the weight of cleaning up decisions made in haste. And now, their memory became a mirror so you could recognize the pattern before repeating it. You may feel emotional as you reflect on them tonight. That emotion is not weakness. It is connection. But understand this clearly. God used that connection as a bridge to your attention. The real source of this protection is divine orchestration. Archangel Michael's role in this season is strengthening your spiritual authority. You are no longer the person who automatically absorbs pressure. You are becoming the person who evaluates, discerns, and then decides. That shift changes how people approach you. You may notice that the situation which once felt urgent is now slowing down. That slowdown is confirmation. When something loses its rush the moment you hesitate, it was never as urgent as it seemed. True opportunities remain steady. False urgency collapses under scrutiny. There is also a subtle blessing unfolding in your home atmosphere. Peace is returning. The tension that hovered around this decision is dissolving. When protection activates, the environment shifts. But there is something deeper you must hear now. The enemy's strategy was not simply to cause a bad decision. It was to distract you from what is coming next. There is an opening ahead that requires clarity of mind and freedom of commitment. A new connection, a financial shift, a personal advancement. It may arrive sooner than you expect. If you had entangled yourself in unnecessary obligation, you would have been too distracted to recognize it. That is why the warning was urgent. You are stepping into a season where discernment becomes your shield and your compass. And the more you trust it, the stronger it becomes. Tonight, if you feel a sense of relief washing over you, let it settle fully. That relief is not temporary. It is the result of alignment. You chose not to rush. You chose not to surrender your peace. And heaven honored that choice immediately. There is one more layer of confirmation you may notice. Someone who initially pressured you may suddenly say, "Take your time." That shift reveals that the pressure was situational, not essential, and that revelation will free you internally. Archangel Michael stands not only as a defender, but as a witness to your growth. This was a test of spiritual maturity, and you responded with wisdom. If this message has guided you, protected you, or helped you pause before making a life-altering decision, seal it now. Type "My discernment is strong" in the comments if you receive this confirmation. Blessing code 8246 is now activated over your path. As you type it, you affirm that haste no longer controls your choices. And as you stand in this clarity, understand something sacred. When you support this mission, you are not funding content. You are fueling interception. Scripture declares, "Those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy." When you release a super thanks, join membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are planting seeds into moments like this for someone else. I sense the Spirit saying, "What you make happen for others, I will make happen for you." Your giving becomes light in another person's midnight hour. It becomes oil in their lamp before their clock strikes 11:57 p.m. This is not a transaction. It is a prophetic act. As you sow, protection surrounds your household. As you give, clarity multiplies in your life. Do not hesitate when obedience calls. Step into participation. Activate your support now. Become a carrier of wisdom that shields souls before regret forms. Wakened one, now that the urgency has dissolved and clarity has taken its place, you can finally see the bigger picture. What once felt like a single decision was actually a doorway into a new level of spiritual authority. You were not just being protected from a mistake. You were being promoted in discernment. There is something powerful about the moment you realize you almost agreed to something that would have drained you. That realization carries both relief and revelation. Relief because you avoided unnecessary weight. Revelation because you now understand how subtle pressure can disguise itself as opportunity. This is growth. You may feel a deeper confidence rising within you. It is not loud or prideful. It is steady. It is grounded. It is the kind of confidence that does not need validation from others. That confidence is the fruit of obedience. When you listen to divine nudges, your inner strength multiplies. The family member who passed from this life played a silent role in this breakthrough, not by speaking directly, but by reminding you of patterns, lessons, and values. Their memories stirred awareness, but God orchestrated the timing, and Archangel Michael guarded the transition. Now, something new is beginning. Because you resisted haste, space has opened in your life. Space for better alignment. Space for opportunities that respect your boundaries. Space for relationships that value clarity over control. You may notice that conversations with certain people begin to change. When you establish a new standard, others must respond to it. Some will rise to meet it. Some will quietly drift. Do not fear either outcome. Alignment always reorganizes your environment. There is also a shift happening within your finances or career direction for some of you. The decision you almost made would have tied up your resources or attention in a way that blocked expansion. Now, that blockage has been removed before it formed. Expect insight in the coming days. Ideas may surface unexpectedly. New possibilities may appear. Because your energy is no longer entangled in confusion, you can recognize opportunity clearly. Archangel Michael's presence remains steady, not because danger is near, but because growth is happening. Protection does not leave once crisis passes. It remains as reinforcement while you step into new territory. You are being trained to trust the quiet voice over the loud demand. That training will serve you repeatedly in the future. There may still be a small part of you wondering what would have happened if you had said yes immediately. Let that curiosity go. You do not need to experience consequences to understand wisdom. Sometimes avoiding the storm is the miracle. And here is something deeper that is unfolding. The warning before 11:57 p.m. was symbolic of your larger life pattern. You often wait until the last moment to trust your intuition. You often hesitate to assert your boundaries until pressure builds. But now, the pattern is changing. You are learning to respond earlier, to sense earlier, to act earlier. A shift will save you years of recovery. There is also an emotional freedom settling into your spirit. You are no longer afraid of disappointing others when necessary. You are no longer afraid of asking for time. You are no longer afraid of pausing. That freedom is powerful. In the days ahead, you may even receive confirmation from an unexpected source. Someone might casually mention something that validates your hesitation. Or new information may surface that makes you grateful you did not rush. When that happens, smile quietly. That is heaven's way of affirming your choice. This experience was not about suspicion. It was about refinement. You are refining how you trust. You are refining how you decide. You are refining how you protect your peace. And peace is becoming your compass. As you move forward, remember how this felt. Remember how urgency tried to cloud your judgment. Remember how clarity arrived when you slowed down. That memory will become your internal guide in future crossroads. You have stepped into a higher standard of living. A standard where discernment leads and pressure follows behind, powerless. The night that once carried warning now carries victory. And this victory is quiet, but it is real. Something even greater is approaching now that your path is clear. And the next revelation will show you how this protected decision connects to a blessing that was already on its way. Wise one, now you are standing on the other side of what could have been a costly detour. The urgency has passed. The pressure has faded. And what remains is a deeper understanding of how God protects you before problems even form. That is the kind of protection many people never recognize because it looks like delay instead of drama. What you sow it. You felt it, and you responded to it. There is something powerful about divine timing. When heaven warns you before 11:57 p.m., it is not about fear of midnight. It is about awareness before transition. You were alerted before a shift could seal an unwise agreement. That is precision. Now that this door has quietly closed, another one is preparing to open. Not loudly, not with chaos, but steadily. In the coming days, you may receive a different kind of opportunity. One that does not pressure you. One that respects your time. One that aligns with your growth rather than your guilt. That contrast will be clear. You will immediately notice the difference in how it feels. Peace will accompany it. The situation you avoided was heavy because it carried imbalance. The opportunity that is approaching will feel balanced. Mutual. Transparent. This is how you will know you have matured. You will no longer be attracted to intensity disguised as importance. You will be drawn to stability. Archangel Michael's role in this entire process was not only defensive, it was directional. He guarded your path so you could step into something cleaner, freer, and more aligned. Protection is often preparation in disguise. You may even begin to see how many times in your past you said yes when you should have paused. Do not let regret cloud this moment. Those experiences built the discernment you use now. Growth often requires previous lessons. But from this point forward, your standard has changed. You are no longer the person who rushes because someone else is uncomfortable waiting. You are no longer the person who absorbs emotional pressure to keep temporary peace. You are becoming someone who values long-term stability over short-term approval. And that shift will ripple into every area of your life. If this message has been guiding you step by step and you can see how it protected you in real time, do not keep that quiet. Like this video so it reaches someone else standing at their own 11:57 p.m. moment. Share it with someone who is about to make a decision under pressure. Comment below if you recognize the exact moment when clarity replaced urgency in your situation. Your experience might be the confirmation someone else needs tonight. Make sure you are subscribed so you continue receiving these timely words when they matter most. And if you feel deeply connected to this spiritual family, step into membership and stand in alignment with ongoing guidance. There is something else happening beneath the surface. Because you chose discernment, your confidence is rising in subtle ways. You will notice it in how you speak, in how you respond, in how you evaluate future decisions. You will ask more questions. You will require clear details. And you will no longer apologize for protecting your peace. That is transformation. The family member whose memory stirred this entire process would be proud of the strength you displayed. Not because you rejected someone, but because you respected yourself. This is generational healing in motion. You did not repeat the silent compromise. You chose conscious clarity. And because of that choice, your path ahead is lighter. Watch for confirmation in unexpected ways. It might come through a conversation that reveals information you did not know. It might come through someone else sharing a similar experience that ends poorly. When you hear it, you will feel gratitude that you paused. Archangel Michael remains positioned not because danger lingers, but because you are stepping into new territory. Growth always attracts testing, but now you know how to respond. You know what pressure feels like. You know what peace feels like. And you will choose peace. There is still one final layer to uncover in this message. One final revelation about why the warning came so precisely and why the timing mattered more than you realized. What you are about to understand will connect everything together in a way that strengthens your faith even deeper. And when that final piece settles into place, You will never ignore your intuition again. Prepared one. Now you are ready to understand the final layer behind the urgency of 11:57 p.m. It was never about superstition. It was never about fear of a clock. It was about spiritual awareness before transition. The final minutes before midnight represent the last opportunity to adjust direction before a new cycle begins. And this was not only about one night. It was about a new season of your life. You were approaching a shift in responsibility, a shift in influence, a shift in how others perceive your strength. And before that shift locked into place, heaven ensured you would not carry unnecessary weight into it. Had you agreed under pressure, you would have stepped into this new season with distraction attached. Your focus would have been divided. Your energy would have been drained. Your peace would have been compromised. But because you paused, you crossed into this new chapter lighter. There is something profound about spiritual promotion. It rarely arrives with applause. It arrives with testing. And the test often looks ordinary. A conversation, a request, a signature, a favor. You passed the test. And passing it was not about intelligence. It was about obedience to inner guidance. Archangel Michael's involvement in this moment was symbolic of divine guardianship over your advancement. When growth increases, so does resistance. But resistance cannot overpower discernment. You have strengthened your ability to sense subtle imbalance. That ability will now protect you in bigger decisions ahead. There is also something deeply personal unfolding within you. You are beginning to trust yourself again. For some time, you doubted your instincts. You second-guessed your impressions. You wondered if you were being too cautious. But now you have evidence that your inner warning system is accurate. That restoration of self-trust is powerful. In the coming weeks, you will face opportunities that require decisive action. Not reaction, but confident action. And because of this experience, you will move with clarity instead of hesitation. The family member whose memory stirred this entire awakening served as a bridge between past lessons and present wisdom. Their life carried examples, some to follow, some to improve upon. You honored them not by copying their sacrifices, but by refining them. That is how generational strength evolves. You may even notice that certain relationships shift subtly after this. People who once assumed your automatic agreement will now approach you differently. They may explain more thoroughly. They may respect your boundaries more carefully. Your standard has changed the dynamic. This is not rebellion. This is maturity. There is peace in your environment now that was not there before. The tension that hovered around the decision has dissolved. That peace is confirmation that alignment has been restored. And here is something even deeper. The urgency of 11:57 p.m. symbolized the closing of a cycle where you allowed urgency to control you. Midnight represented the birth of a new pattern where discernment leads. You are no longer driven by external pressure. You are guided by internal clarity. That shift will influence your finances, your relationships, your career, and even your spiritual growth. Because when you learn to pause, you create space for divine instruction. Archangel Michael stands not as a constant alarm, but as a reminder that you are guarded while you grow. Protection is not always loud. It is often quiet reinforcement behind your decisions. As you move forward from this experience, hold on to the feeling of peace that followed your pause. That feeling is your compass. There may still be moments in the future where urgency attempts to return. But now you will recognize it immediately. You will not confuse intensity with importance. You have learned the difference. And because you have learned it, you have leveled up spiritually. The final revelation is this. The warning came not because something terrible was destined to happen, but because something better was destined to arrive. And you needed to be free to receive it. The night that carried caution has become the night that marked transformation. You stepped into a new standard, and the closing message will seal this shift permanently within you. Anointed soul, this is the sealing of everything you have just walked through. What began as a warning before 11:57 p.m. has now revealed itself as a divine upgrade. You were not being saved from disaster alone. You were being prepared for elevation. Midnight has passed, symbolically and spiritually, and you crossed it differently than you would have before. You crossed it with awareness, with restraint, with discernment. That is transformation. The urgency that once tried to control you no longer has authority. You felt it. You examined it. And you refused to be ruled by it. That single act shifted your trajectory more than you realize. There is something powerful about recognizing that heaven intervened before you even understood the full picture. That is love. God does not only rescue after mistakes, He protects before them. And when He does, it is because your future carries weight. The family member who has already passed was part of the awakening, but not the source of it. Their memory stirred you. Their life reflected lessons. But God orchestrated the timing, and Archangel Michael guarded the gate of your transition. Now that you stand on the other side, look at what has changed within you. You are slower to commit. You are quicker to discern. You are calmer under pressure. You are stronger in silence. This is not a small shift. This is the breaking of a generational pattern. Where there was once silent sacrifice, there is now conscious wisdom. Where there was once rushed agreement, there is now thoughtful evaluation. And here is the truth that ties everything together. The message came before 11:57 p.m. because something better was scheduled after midnight. A new opportunity, a new alignment, a new level of clarity. If you had entered it burdened by unnecessary obligation, you would have struggled to recognize it. But now you are ready. In the coming days, pay attention to doors that open without force, conversations that flow without manipulation, offers that feel balanced instead of heavy. That is the contrast heaven wanted you to see. You will not need to chase what is meant for you. You will not need to be pressured into what aligns with you. You will not need to prove loyalty at the cost of peace. Archangel Michael remains assigned to your forward movement, not because danger surrounds you, but because destiny does. Protection increases where purpose increases. Let this final truth settle deeply. You were warned because you are valued. You were interrupted because you are chosen. You were protected because you are advancing. And from this moment on, when urgency appears without peace, you will recognize it immediately. You will remember this night. You will remember how clarity felt. And you will pause without apology. Now seal this transformation. Type "I walk in divine timing" in the comments if you receive this final confirmation. Blessing code 9907 is now released over your new season. As you declare it, you align yourself with wisdom that protects before problems form, and with favor that follows obedience. And as this message closes, hear this as a living invitation from heaven itself. Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. When you sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link waiting in the description, you are not supporting a video. You are lighting a lamp in someone else's file 3 minutes before midnight. I sense the Lord saying, "Whoever refreshes others will himself be refreshed." Your seed becomes oil in another household. Your obedience, becomes a shield around another destiny. This is a prophetic act, not a casual donation. When you give, you participate in divine interruption. When you sow, you help heaven reach someone before regret seals their night. Do not delay the prompting you feel. Activate your support now. Stand with this mission. Become a vessel that carries warning, wisdom, and protection to souls standing at their own 11:57 p.m. moment.